Have you ever wondered why two people can start at the same place in life, yet end up with completely different results? Why one person struggles to get by while another builds a life of abundance, freedom, and influence? What separates the ordinary from the extraordinary? It's not luck, and it's not just talent, it's philosophy. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because here we unlock the timeless principles of success, growth, and financial independence, tools that can truly transform your future. Jim Rohn, one of the greatest mentors in the world of personal development, left behind a powerful formula, a way of thinking and living that can turn your life into something remarkable. Today, we're going to break down that formula step by step so you can apply it directly into your own journey. 1. The power of philosophy. Your philosophy is the foundation of your life. It's how you see the world, how you make decisions, and how you respond to challenges. Jim Rohn believed that everything begins with philosophy, because what you think determines what you do, and what you do determines what you get. A person with a philosophy of growth and opportunity will approach obstacles as stepping stones, while someone with a philosophy of fear and limitation will see the same obstacles as insurmountable walls. In this sense, your philosophy isn't just an abstract idea, it's the compass that silently guides every choice you make, every relationship you nurture, and every goal you pursue. Too many people live on autopilot, repeating the habits of their parents, friends, or the culture around them. They inherit philosophies without even realizing it. Some adopt scarcity mindsets because they grew up hearing phrases like, "money doesn't grow on trees," or "people like us never get ahead." Others inherit cynicism, believing success is only for the lucky or privileged. But if you want a different result, you need a different philosophy. The way you view opportunity, wealth, discipline, and even failure, it all comes from your guiding philosophy. When you shift your underlying perspective, the same events that once discouraged you suddenly inspire you. Change your thoughts, and you change your results. Consider failure. To someone with a weak philosophy, failure is the end of the road. It confirms their fears and becomes proof that they're not good enough. To someone with a strong philosophy, failure is simply feedback, a signal that they must adjust their strategy or increase their effort. The same experience produces entirely different outcomes, depending not on the event itself, but on the philosophy that interprets it. This is why two people can face the same setback, yet one quits while the other grows stronger. The real difference is not talent, luck, or resources, it's philosophy. When you consciously build a philosophy of growth, one rooted in learning, resilience, and possibility, you start aligning your choices with the life you actually want, not just the life you stumbled into. You stop being a passenger and start being the driver. Instead of reacting to life's circumstances, you create principles that guide your behavior no matter what comes your way. A philosophy of discipline leads to consistency. A philosophy of gratitude leads to joy. A philosophy of personal responsibility leads to empowerment. Each of these principles, woven into your daily thinking, becomes part of the architecture of your future. A great philosophy does not have to be complicated. In fact, simplicity is its strength. A few guiding beliefs, clearly defined and deeply internalized, can shape decades of decision-making. Imagine adopting the philosophy that every challenge is an opportunity to grow, that every person you meet has something to teach you, and that every day is a chance to improve by at least 1%. Such a philosophy will not only change how you feel about life, but also how life responds to you. Opportunities seem to appear more often, relationships deepen, and goals become achievable, all because you've aligned your actions with a stronger foundation. In the end, your philosophy is the lens through which you experience reality. If the lens is cloudy with doubt, negativity, or fear, the world will always seem dark and unwelcoming. But if the lens is polished with optimism, resilience, and a deep belief in your own responsibility, the world becomes a place of endless opportunity. Jim Rohn's timeless wisdom reminds us, it all begins with philosophy. If you want to change your life, don't just change your actions, change the way you think about life itself. Once you elevate your philosophy, everything else will follow.
2. Shaping daily habits. If philosophy is the foundation, then habits are the bricks. Every day, you're either building your future or tearing it down, one action at a time. Success isn't about one massive breakthrough. It's about small, consistent actions stacked over years. People often overestimate the power of dramatic change, while underestimating the quiet force of daily discipline. The truth is, you don't become wealthy overnight, healthy in a week, or wise after one book. Instead, success is built brick by brick, action by action, until the compound effect of your habits produces results so significant they seem miraculous to outsiders. But those results are not magic. They're the math of daily habits working silently over time. Think about it. The habit of reading instead of scrolling, exercising instead of snoozing, saving instead of spending recklessly. These choices compound. A single workout may not change your body, but 1,000 workouts will. Reading for 20 minutes today might not transform your mind, but reading every day for a year will. Jim Rohn used to say, success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And failure? It's simply a few errors in judgment repeated daily. The problem is, both success and failure feel insignificant in the moment. Eating a salad today doesn't make you fit, and skipping a workout today doesn't make you unhealthy. But give it enough time, and the small disciplines or the small errors in judgment determine everything. Your habits are your silent partners. They work for you or against you. The question is, what kind of future are your habits building right now? If your current daily actions were multiplied by 100, what would your life look like in 5 years? That question can be both inspiring and terrifying. Inspiring if you're living with intentional habits, and terrifying if you've been coasting on autopilot. The scary thing about habits is that they don't need your permission. They simply execute themselves once they're ingrained. This means you must be ruthless about auditing them, replacing harmful ones with constructive ones before they rob you of years of potential. Every achiever understands that the big picture is created through small details. Olympic athletes don't just train when they feel like it, they build rituals around practice, sleep, diet, and mindset. Entrepreneurs who succeed don't just hustle randomly. They form systems of daily actions that align with long-term goals. The same is true for personal growth. Journaling, meditation, gratitude, or simply reflecting each evening can rewire how you process experiences. By intentionally shaping your habits, you take control of the invisible routines that shape your destiny. Another overlooked truth about habits is that they are contagious. Surround yourself with disciplined, growth-oriented people, and you will naturally pick up their patterns. Surround yourself with people who complain, procrastinate, or indulge recklessly, and you will eventually mirror them. Jim Rohn famously said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." That's another way of saying your environment shapes your habits, and your habits shape your life. If you want to transform, sometimes the most powerful step is not willpower, but repositioning yourself in a different circle. In the end, habits are proof that success is not an event, but a process. They are the daily votes you cast for the kind of person you wish to become. Every small act, whether it's choosing water over soda or writing for 15 minutes instead of watching television, is a declaration of your future self. The key is consistency. Do not wait for motivation. Motivation is fleeting. Instead, design your days so that discipline becomes automatic and success becomes inevitable. Your habits are your destiny in disguise, waiting for you to either sculpt them or ignore them. The choice is yours.
3. Mastering time and discipline. Time is the great equalizer. We all get 24 hours a day, but not everyone uses it the same way. The difference between a life of regret and a life of achievement often comes down to discipline, the ability to consistently do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. Some people treat time casually, as though they have an unlimited supply. Others treat time as their most precious asset, structuring their days so that each hour is invested rather than wasted. The truth is, you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. Once it is gone forever, and how you choose to spend it is the clearest reflection of what you value most. Discipline is freedom in disguise. It's the power to say no to distractions and yes to your priorities. It's managing your time like a precious resource instead of wasting it on what doesn't matter. The undisciplined pay the price of neglect, while the disciplined enjoy the rewards of progress. Think of the person who chooses the discipline of studying daily versus the one who crams at the last minute. One lives in a constant state of panic. The other enjoys the peace of preparation. Discipline is not punishment, it is the pathway to peace. It may feel restrictive in the moment, but over time, it expands your freedom by giving you control over your results and your future. The tragedy is that most people trade what they want most for what they want now. They sacrifice long-term fulfillment for short-term pleasure, and they justify it by saying, "I'll do better tomorrow." But tomorrow has a way of becoming next week, next month, and next year. Discipline is the bridge between intention and execution. Without it, your dreams remain fantasies, endlessly delayed by procrastination. With it, your dreams move from the realm of possibility to reality. It doesn't take more hours in the day, it takes more intentional use of the hours you already have. One of the greatest skills you can master is learning to guard your time with the same intensity you guard your money or your reputation. This means creating boundaries, turning off distractions, and learning to prioritize what truly matters. Rohn often reminded his audiences that success is not about working harder, but about working smarter with the hours you already have. A disciplined person knows when to say yes and when to say no, not based on convenience, but based on alignment with their goals. Every yes to a distraction is a no to progress, and every no to a distraction is a yes to freedom. When you master your time and discipline, you stop living reactively and start living intentionally. You stop just existing and you start advancing. Instead of drifting through days hoping something will change, you wake up with purpose, execute with focus, and rest with satisfaction. Time mastery is not about squeezing productivity into every second. It is about directing your energy toward what matters most. Discipline ensures that the urgent never crowds out the important, and that your actions consistently reflect your highest priorities. In the end, discipline is the key that unlocks potential. Talent without discipline is wasted. Time without discipline is squandered. Dreams without discipline are abandoned. But with discipline, even average talent, limited resources, and small beginnings can lead to extraordinary results. Rohn's wisdom reminds us that success is not a matter of chance, but a matter of choice, and that choice is made daily in how you use your time and whether you cultivate the discipline to direct it wisely.
4. Turning knowledge into wealth. Knowledge alone is not power. Applied knowledge is. Jim Rohn taught that wealth comes from turning ideas into action and action into results. Too many people collect information but never implement it. They attend seminars, read books, listen to podcasts, but if they never apply what they learn, nothing changes. Think about how many people have a shelf full of self-help books or bookmarked hundreds of motivational videos, yet their life looks exactly the same year after year. This is because knowledge, while important, is potential energy. It has no real force until you take that first step of execution. A person could study every book on fitness, memorize nutrition facts, and watch countless exercise tutorials, but unless they actually get up, eat differently, and move their body, nothing improves. The same is true in business, finances, and personal development. Real change begins not when we know something, but when we decide to do something with what we know. Jim Rohn often emphasized that information without action is the illusion of progress. It feels productive because we are learning, but it doesn't bring results until it is put into practice. The true power lies in that bridge between knowing and doing. Once a person makes that leap, knowledge begins to compound into skill, skill develops into competence, and competence generates results that ultimately lead to wealth. Wealth isn't just about money, it's about value. The marketplace rewards people who create solutions, provide value, and serve others. If you develop yourself, if you sharpen your skills, if you invest in learning how to solve real problems, you'll always find a way to prosper. Jim Rohn believed that money is simply a byproduct of the value you bring to the world. A doctor is compensated not just for knowing anatomy, but for applying that knowledge to heal patients. An entrepreneur is rewarded not simply for dreaming up ideas, but for executing them in a way that helps customers. A teacher is respected not only for what they know, but for how they transfer that knowledge to others. This principle works in every area of life. The more valuable you become, the more rewards naturally come to you. This is why self-development is the highest form of leverage. When you improve yourself, your thinking, your problem-solving, and your ability to serve others, you multiply your earning capacity without needing external permission. If you bring value, opportunities will find you. Jim often pointed out that the secret to prosperity isn't chasing money, it's chasing value. Money follows value the way a shadow follows the body. If you want more wealth, focus on becoming a person who can contribute at a higher level. This makes you indispensable, and in a world where many people only consume, the one who produces, creates, and serves will always rise above the rest. The secret is to become more valuable. As Jim Rohn said, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. The better you become, the more opportunities open up and the more wealth naturally flows into your life. This mindset shift is powerful because it removes the tendency to blame external circumstances. Instead of waiting for the economy to improve, a person can improve themselves. Instead of hoping for luck, they can build competence. Instead of wishing for a shortcut, they can strengthen their character. When you focus on growth, obstacles turn into stepping stones because you become capable of handling them. The person who constantly works on themselves eventually outgrows limitations that would paralyze others. In time, success begins to feel inevitable because your level of preparation and ability exceeds the challenges before you. Wealth in this sense is not a single event. It's a natural result of the person you become. When you are more disciplined, more knowledgeable, more skilled, and more resourceful, you can create opportunities where others see none. Jim Rohn's timeless wisdom reminds us that the ultimate investment is not in stocks, real estate, or business ventures. It is in yourself. If you keep becoming more valuable, you ensure that no matter how the world changes, you will always have the ability to generate wealth and create the life you desire.
5. Building a life of freedom. The ultimate goal of personal development and financial growth is freedom. The freedom to live life on your own terms, to spend time with who you want, to pursue what excites you and to make an impact in your own unique way. Freedom is not just about escaping financial stress, although that is a part of it. It is about designing a life where your choices are not dictated by fear, scarcity, or obligation, but by vision and intention. Many people misunderstand success as mere accumulation of wealth or status, but true success is measured in freedom, the ability to wake up and choose how you will use your day. Imagine being able to dedicate time to your passions, to travel where you want, to support causes that matter to you, and to be fully present with the people you love without the constant weight of financial or time pressure. That is the essence of freedom, and it is why all the disciplines Jim Rohn spoke about, philosophy, attitude, activity, and results, ultimately point toward this destination. Freedom is not a luxury reserved for a few, but a reward available to anyone who is willing to take responsibility for their growth and steadily build the habits that lead there. Freedom isn't something that happens overnight. It's the product of years of disciplined effort, wise choices, and steady growth. When you take control of your philosophy, habits, time, and knowledge, you gain the ability to shape your own destiny instead of being shaped by circumstance. Many people drift through life pushed by external forces, such as the economy, the opinions of others, or the limitations of their environment. But freedom comes to those who live intentionally, who decide to invest in themselves, who discipline their time, and who align their actions with their long-term vision. For example, financial freedom requires discipline in spending and investing, not just hoping for a lucky break. Emotional freedom requires discipline in how we think, respond, and manage our energy. Time freedom requires learning to prioritize, say no, and build systems that support our goals. Every form of freedom has a cost, and that cost is discipline. The paradox is that by embracing discipline in the short term, you gain freedom in the long term. Those who refuse discipline end up enslaved by distractions, debt, or dependency. Jim Rohn often emphasized that we all pay one of two prices, the price of discipline or the price of regret. Freedom is purchased through the consistent payment of discipline, and once you've paid that price long enough, the reward is a life where you are no longer at the mercy of external circumstances. Freedom is not just the absence of constraints, it's the presence of power, purpose, and peace. And that is the life Jim Rohn's formula is designed to help you build. Too often, people imagine freedom as simply doing whatever they want whenever they want. But true freedom is deeper. It is the ability to live with purpose, knowing that your life is aligned with your values. It is the power to create opportunities for yourself and others because you have built the resources and character to do so. And it is the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are not dependent on luck, but on the person you have become. This kind of freedom cannot be bought with shortcuts. It is built, layer by layer, through growth, responsibility, and service. Jim Rohn's philosophy shows us that a free life is not accidental, it is designed. When you align your daily disciplines with your long-term vision, you gradually construct a life where freedom is not just a dream, but a lived reality. And when you reach that stage, your freedom doesn't just benefit you, it inspires and uplifts those around you. Your example becomes proof that with the right philosophy, steady discipline, and commitment to growth, anyone can rise from ordinary circumstances to live an extraordinary life of freedom.
So let me ask you, what's your philosophy today? What habits are shaping your tomorrow? How disciplined are you with your time? And how much of what you know are you actually applying? These are the questions that determine whether you'll drift through life or design a life of freedom. If this message has sparked something inside you, subscribe and stay with us. We're building a community of people committed to growth, discipline, and transformation. Remember, success is not a secret, it's a system. And now you have the formula. Start today. Build your philosophy. Shape your habits, master your time, apply your knowledge, and step into the freedom you deserve.